Hey, hi friends, welcome back. Doing good. So in today's video, I am going to share top 20 Tableau interview questions with you guys. If you are preparing for a Tableau developer job role or the data analysis interview where the Tableau is one of the required skill, then I would encourage you to watch this entire video till the end so that you get a very good understanding of how to handle the Tableau related interview questions. Alright, so let's begin with the question number one, which is what is Tableau? So Tableau is nothing but a business intelligence tool which is used to develop the interactive report dashboard, and it also used to do some data analysis work. So basic intention of this tool is to generate a meaningful insight out of the raw data. Okay, so there are many competitor also for the Tableau like QuickView, Power BI, Google Studio. So there are lots of other, but Tableau is currently in the trend. So this is one of the best choice for the developing any BI solution. The next question is what are the different Tableau products? So as per the requirement, we have variety of Tableau versions available in the market. So one of the product is Tableau Desktop. So it is mainly used to create the Tableau visualization or charts absolute from the scratch in the local machine. You can connect that with your backend data source and extract the data in the Tableau and generate or create the charts and save that to your local machine as well as publish to the Tableau server. The next product is the Tableau Public. So Tableau Public is used to develop a charts and visualization, but it is not as like as a Tableau Desktop. In the Tableau Public, you cannot save your worksheet into local machine, but you can save that to Tableau Public portal where all other audience can access your work. So it is not confidential, it is a public work that you can say. The next version is the Tableau Online. So Tableau Online is nothing but the online version of the Tableau Desktop itself, as well as you can develop the report in the browser or the on the internet version of the Tableau Desktop. So you can connect with the data source and you can develop your charts and save on the Tableau server side or Tableau Public side. So in the Tableau Online we come with the very minimal features. It is not as like as Tableau Desktop or Tableau Public. The next version is the Tableau Server. So Tableau Server is a restricted version of the enterprise where the business user can create and store their Tableau workbook, but that will be not visible to other users until and unless they grant any specific access and permission. And also on the Tableau server we can store our Tableau workbooks in organized way under the different project name. It will come with the many additional feature compared to Tableau Public. The next one is the Tableau Reader. So Tableau Reader is simply a reader application which is used to read the report from the Tableau server site or Tableau Public site. The next version is the Tableau Prep. Tableau Prep is nothing more than the ETL kind of tool which is managed by Tableau. So if you want to do certain data extraction, data transformation before developing the dashboard, you can perform that in Tableau Prep and use that workflow to develop your Tableau dashboard. So that's what the different Tableau products available in the market. Let's jump on the next question. Explain the difference between the Tableau Desktop and the Tableau Server. As I discussed in the last question, Tableau desktop is used to develop reports from the scratch, where the Tableau server is a place where we do store or we do publish our work, and which is restricted to other users. So based on the level of permission and the access, the user or audience will be able to access that respective workbook on the Tableau server side. Okay, next question is, what is the data source in the Tableau? So whenever we do connect any data to the Tableau, data should be present at any specific source, right? So that connection we do establish between the backend server to the Tableau, and we do see a respective data source in the Tableau data source tab. So that is contained or that is nothing but the data source. So for example, if I show you this, here I have connected with the sample superstore dataset, and that is nothing but my data source, and I have connected it on the live connection. Okay, the next question is, what are the dimension and the measure? So it is a kind of data type in the Tableau where it auto differentiate the attributes based on their data type. So dimension is a kind of qualitative data where we can do a certain categorization or separation of the data based on the specific field. For example, name, date, category, subcategory, city, pin code. So that kind of data falls under the dimension, where measure is a quantitative data where we can perform certain aggregation. For example, a rate, sales, profit, quantity, which can be measurable, we do measure, and that falls under the measure section in the Tableau. Okay, the next question is, what is the calculated field? So calculated field is nothing more than a manipulated or some additional computation we do on the existing data we are using in the Tableau. So we have many functions available in calculated field. It is as like as SQL. I'll quickly show one example to you guys. So let's say I have the customer name and I want to extract the first name out of the customer name. So here I have created a separate calculated field called first name, and you can identify it with equal to mark. So that's how you can identify the calculated field. And here I'm using the split function on the customer name and passing my delimiter and retrieving the first name like this. Okay, so that's how you can use the calculate field to do certain computation on existing data. The next question is, what is the parameter and the use case of it? So parameter is as like as a kind of filter with some additional feature, but you can use it to get control on any constant value to change it on dynamic input. So you can use as a dynamic input, which can be used to change visualization or the calculation. So for example, I have created the first name calculated field and passed indexed over here. If you see here, I have passed index of parameter 3. So parameter 3 contained only 1 and 2. So currently I have selected 1, that means 1 is a control by parameter. So here our input is 1, that's why we are seeing the first name. If I change it to 2, so first name will show the last name of the customer. So that's how you can change the calculated field or change the calculation using the parameter. Also it is used when if you want to switch the visualization itself. The next question is, explain the difference between the discrete and the continuous value. So discrete values are nothing but the finite number. It is also called a categorical data. For example, pin code number I can say. So pin code number if you do any aggregation on a pin code number, doesn't make any sense, right? So that pin code number falls under the categorical data, and it is a discrete, it is a finite number. But the continuous field is nothing but the infinite value which falls within certain range. The example of it is like a temperature of last 7 days. So it will give you certain range, right, from day 1 to day 7, and it is a continuous. You can perform aggregation on the temperature, you can calculate the mean, median of the temperature of the last 7 days. It is just example I am giving you. So that's how you can differentiate between the discrete value and continuous value. All right, the next question is, what is a dual axis? So dual axis is allows you to compare two measures on the single graph having two different axes. When it comes to two different measure, you can consider the sales and profit across a certain time frame and show that as a line chart in the single graph. And if you do it dual axis, you can compare the sales and profit in a single line chart with two different line graphs in the chart. For example, I'll quickly show that to you, it is not that difficult. So if I put the ship date on the column and make it as month, and if I drag the cells in the row, so we have now sales graph. If I put the profit next to sales, it will show me two line charts, right? So now if I select the dual axis over here like this, so it will give me the two line chart, and if I do the sync axis, it will give the proper comparison. So this is how you can create the dual axis in the Tableau. In fact, you can combine or group the multiple dimension and use that group to create multiple line charts. That is interesting part. The next question is, what are the set and group? The set is nothing but a custom field that define a subset of the database condition based on the specific condition. It is a subset of data, where the group is a combination of dimension members into the higher level categories. So if you can create a category based on your manual selection in a dimension and define a group name into it. Another difference is that if any underlying data got changed, set do vary, but group will show the same group of data. Okay, next question is, what is the context filter? So context filter is nothing but a kind of filter where we are passing any dimension as a context. It creates a virtual table based on the selection of the dimension, and it will create that virtual table on the top of the underlying data source, underlying data set, and we can use all other filters to apply on the context filter, so that we get most relevant value or numbers on the visual. So it is processed within the context of data. Okay, I'll quickly show the example. If I put the city over here, and let's say if I select all, I'm just giving a very basic kind of example. and let's say I track the profit ratio in filter and apply. So if I right click on the city, here I have add to context. So now if I add to context, city is nothing but the context filter, and if I use my aggregate profit ratio on the top of this context filter, my context filter will create a virtual table and aggregated profit ratio. So whatever filter I apply further on aggregated profit ratio, it will be based on my context of the city. Okay, so that's how the context filter works. The next question is explain the concept of LOD expression. So basically LOD is nothing but the level of detail, and there are three different types of LODs. The first one is the fix LOD, second one is the include LOD, and the third one is the exclude LOD. So the choice of a specific LOD all the way depend on the what kind of visualization we are developing and what is the granularity of the data. The fixed LOD is nothing but expression where we do pass a certain dimension, and based on that dimension we do pass the measure that needs to be aggregate, and once we do that, the measure aggregates based on the dimension, and it will be fixed in the entire visualization. So it will get hold on underlying data of the dimension and will show relevant values, and that dimension not necessarily supposed to be in the visual, but include and exclude comes when if we are passing the dimension which is not present in the visualization, then we use the include LOD, and exclude LOD comes when any dimension is already present in visualization and we don't want that dimension to be considered to perform a certain aggregation. So in that case we do the exclude LOD, so it will give the higher granularity to lower granularity of the data in the visualization. The next question is what are the extracts and the live connection. So extract is nothing but a snapshot of the data optimized for aggregation. Live connection are direct connection to data source which will query the data in the real time. So there are certain additional differences also there. So extract is snapshot and stays within the Tableau environment. No matter what happened to backend data, your Tableau report will not change until and unless you do a refresh. But in case of live, it all the way queries the data from the backend to the Tableau, and each time it do run the query. So if any additional changes happens to the backend data, that does reflect into Tableau report. So that's difference between the extract and live connection. Extract is useful when we have very high volume of data and complexity of the calculation is very high in the report. In order to get a good hold on performance of the Tableau workbook, we do the extract connection. But live comes when if we have a very low volume of data and user wants to track a live activities, then live connection is preferable. But performance point of view, it is not very good if a data size and the complexity of report is very high. So that's the difference. The next question is how do you optimize the performance of the Tableau workbook? So it does comes across various circumstances. Very first is we do identify underlying data volume, and out of this data how much data we actually utilizing to develop dashboard. there could be a certain unused column that can be cut down in order to reduce the volume of data. If we have any calculated field which is taking more than usual time to load, then we can rework on that calculated field to improve the performance and split or merge the calculated fields in order to get rid of extra running time of the query. So that is second approach. The third approach is we can cut down unused workbooks present in the Tableau file, which is not used to develop dashboard, or if the dashboard is bulky, we can split dashboard into two different parts in order to get rid of a load time. That way also Tableau workbook does performance good. So that's how you can optimize the performance of the Tableau workbook. Okay, next question is, what is the Tableau public? We already discussed this question. It is a free version of Tableau which is used to develop visualization, but you can store your reports publicly on the web, which will be visible to all other audiences. Okay, the next question is how to handle the null value in the Tableau. So there are many ways. The best way is to replace the null value with any other value using the if null condition and the zn condition. So here you can do a replacement or fixing the null value in the Tableau. Next question, explain why would you create a dashboard. How would you create a dashboard basically? So it is very straightforward thing. Once you are done with developing the charts in the worksheets, you can create a new dashboard and drag and drop all the worksheets into the container and develop title and cosmetic part in the dashboard. So it's very simple, straightforward. I don't think it is very difficult to answer in an interview. Let's jump to the next question. How can you display the top end record in the Tableau visualization? Okay, so to display top end record, you can do a calculated field to display top end record. You can create a filter and select the top n. You can create the rank and use the filter on the top of it to show the top n values. You can also create a set to create a top n numbers. Number of ways, like it is not a one way answer. There are different ways to bring the top n records in the Tableau. One of the way I'll quickly show. Let's say I have city, and if I click on edit filter, so here I have top option. So by field I can say top 10 city by category count or by any other dimension I can put over here, like a sale, sum of sales. So top 10 city based on sum of sale. If I hit on apply and okay, it will show me the respective graph based on the top 10 city and all. So that's how you can calculate, or I can bring the top end record. Next question, what is the difference between the blending and joining? So this is one of the most popular question that asked in the Tableau interview question. So both of these method do integrate the data. It supplements the data basically. Blending is useful when we have a different level of granularity in the different data set, and if the data is coming out of from two different sources, like if you have two data sources and you need to combine them and create a visual, you can go with the blending operation. And in the blending, the order of operation happens like it first aggregates the smaller data frame and then it does perform the join operation in the Tableau. So it is dynamic in nature. Based on your visualization, it does create a linking field and perform the join from backside. So blending is a dynamic join. You can also call it as dynamic join, but joining the table is static. And in the joining, if you have a data coming from a single data source with a multiple table, you can perform the join. These two tables should have at least a similar granular level. So if it is a very high discrepancy on a granularity of data, joining will end up creating a duplicate records, and that is not very helpful to develop the charts, right? And if you're developing any sort of visual based on this joining table, your joining condition will not change, it will remain same for entire process. Okay, so joining table, it is a fixed static method with the similar granularity of data, but blending is the dynamic in nature. It is because you have different level of granularity and data is coming from two different sources. There is one more update I would add here, it's relationship. So maybe in a mini interview you may ask like what is the difference between the joining and relationship. So as I said, joining does expect a same granularity of data in order to avoid duplication, but relationship does handle the different data model with a different level of granularity, and it does change the joining based on the visualization condition. So it is dynamic in nature. So relationship, it's more flexible over the joining, and the relationship happens on the logical layer of the Tableau, where it doesn't join the table on a physical layer, so it doesn't integrate the data on the physical table. Okay, so that's the difference. The next question and last question of this video is, how do you create a calculated field to concat two strings? So here we do have a concat as a function available in the calculated field. You can use concat, you can call out string1, then pass the delimiter, then pass the string2, and this will return the concatenated result of the both string in the visualization. So you can play around it with, you can explore more and more function in calculated field in order to get good hold on the Tableau tool. Okay guys, so I think that's it for the day. Hope you found this video useful. Hit a thumbs up button, share your thoughts in the comment section, and do let me know if you want me to create a video on any specific topic. So till then, take care, bye bye, we'll see you in the next video.